Anthony Martial has been offered to Real Madrid on a season-long loan, and the player's agent is trying to find him a new club this summer. Arsenal were linked with a big money move, 40 to 50 million pounds for Ben White. That's been confirmed by one of the leading voices in transfer news, David Ornstein. And on top of that, another Jadon Sancho update, this time from the British press, that the deal is expected to be announced next week. Hit that like button, hit that share button. Here we go. Morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Football Terrace. If you're watching on YouTube, you know the score. Hit that like button, press share, put this into your group chats, put this onto your timelines, put this into your Insta stories, whatever it may be. Also, make sure you're subscribing and you've got the bell notifications turned on. If you're watching over on our Twitter account, please retweet and hit that like button. Also, leave some comments under below at us and tell us what you think and feel in relation to these stories. And if you're watching over on Twitch, make sure you are hitting the follow button. So when we go live again, you know exactly where we are. Big news today. Anthony Martial is set to leave Manchester United this summer. His agent is actively looking for a new club. It's reported that Manchester United have offered him to Real Madrid for a season-long loan, including a fee. And I want to gauge your reaction to this. I want to say this in the right way. I haven't really read the responses on the TL in relation to the Martial news because I know it's going to be putrid. I know that it's going to be venomous. I know that it's going to be, I just know with us, I swear this on my children's life. You're going to have a very small percentage sort of be understanding about this and say that Sancho's coming in, Cavani's the leading number 9. There's talk about looking for another number 9 when Cavani leaves. It kind of makes sense for someone to move on. We also need to raise money. Most of us don't want Paul Pogba to leave if we're going to sign a better quality centre-back or CDM. We know we don't have the funds without selling somebody. So it makes logical sense for Anthony Martial to potentially be that person. But what I know from the other 80 to 90% of people is some will go straight on the attack. Yeah, Martial's trash. He's overrated. He's always injured. He wasn't good enough anyway. He's got to leave. And another percentage of that 80 to 90% are going to be abusing Ollie and abusing Marcus Rashford. I just know what's going to happen. It's as clear as my receding hairline. It's why I wear a hat a lot, to be fair, that is what's going to be going on. But the Football Terrace community, I wanted to gauge your views and opinions on this. Are Man United doing the right thing by exploring the possibility of Anthony Martial leaving this summer? I want your thoughts. I want your feelings. I want your opinions on this. We always knew somebody would be a casualty if Jadon Sancho came in, if Cavani stayed. We always knew that was going to happen. Why? Rashford is at Man United what he is. He isn't going anywhere. But I want your opinions on that. Ahmad has come in. And if you listen to the reports behind the scenes, people are very excited about him. Jadon Sancho is multifaceted. He's very close to being announced. If you look at a report today from the Athletic and the Times from Sam Pilger, he says here that the Sancho talks continue, focus now on the payment structure. I don't want to say I told you so, but I am going to here. I've been telling you for ages his payment structure. I've been telling you about the fee. It's as if I know. I don't. I'm not making it up. It was my guess through understanding what our transfers work through years of doing this. It's getting closer, and there are hopes that it could be done by next week. Sancho's multifaceted. He plays in a number of positions. He can cover Anthony Martial's role. He's that creative player that is needed, as well as being able to score in the goal section as well. But I do want your views and I do want your opinions. We're going to open up the lines for you to phone in very, very soon in relation to this deal. Aside from Man United news today, big Arsenal news. Ben White to Arsenal. Now, David Ornstein has said there's been no club-to-club contact yet. That's normal. We can now, in the transfer world, ignore the official contact, official inquiries, club-to-club contact. Club-to-club contact, it sounds like a weird massage. Skin to skin, body to body. Right? But it's like, how do I put this in the right way? They go through intermediaries anyway at the early stages. So it shouldn't be a surprise to anybody there's been no official contact. But it says, but expected in due course, 40 to 50 million pound. Interest first reported by John Cross. Very, very kind there of David Ornstein to big up the person who first broke the news. I think it's a very respectful thing to do. But Ben White to Arsenal. And I looked at a thread here from Chris Davison, who's been on the channel. They'll be back on the Football Terrace very, very, very soon as well. It's really interesting. The response is yes, but not for 40 to 50 million. There's lots of anger in the responses as well. Lots of people saying it's ridiculous. Some saying, there's one here from Barry that says a top signing, an absolute top signing. Some are pointing out that Jurgen Klopp did want him a year or so ago. Go back to last summer, Liverpool fans were raving about him. So maybe there's potential there, but a really mixed bag on socials. But again, I want the Football Terrace community's opinion and views on this. And you know what I will say about Ben White is you may end up finding, I want to say this in the right way, you may end up finding a sort of a changing of opinion depending on how he plays for England. Remember, we've only seen him play in the Prem for Brighton. And maybe, you know, we were all very impressed with Italy last night, weren't we? And I was saying one of the things about Italy, which has changed the way they play football, is they've searched outside the big three, big four, big five clubs in the nation to find talent that makes their team better. Maybe there is a hidden gem somewhere in Ben White. Maybe it's the fact that he has a very bland, sort of unseasoned name that people are not as impressed by him. As I say, a year ago, when he was linked to Liverpool, all I saw was praise. All I saw was praise. I'm not saying he is great. I don't know. I don't watch enough Brighton games. I haven't seen him around better quality football players. So it's going to be interesting to see. Another part of the AFC stuff here have posted a snippet from The Athletic this morning that says Arteta is keen to secure a new right-sided centre-back in the current transfer window, and having explored the possibility of recruiting Jules Koundé, Arsenal's focus has turned to White. It is unclear what an arrival in that position would mean for William Saliba. My view is I think the Saliba thing being thrown in as a bit of a, let's get some debate going, because David Luiz is going to leave, as an example. Gabriel, very, very good. You need three quality centre-backs to fight it out for those. Even if you play with two at the back, you need three, at least, top quality centre-backs to be fighting out for positions for a year or two, especially as they're all quite young. They'll all be quite willing to fight for it. And maybe in a year, 18 months, 2 years' time, one of them ends up leaving and moving on. So I don't think the Saliba situation is something I would be concerned about if I was an Arsenal fan. That wouldn't be something that I would be overtly worried or concerned about at all. But I want your thoughts and feelings this morning. I'm going to post the link now in the live comment section. I'm going to spam it a little bit so you can find it. I'm also going to post it on our wonderful Discord server as well. If you're not part of our Discord server, it literally is the best way to stay in contact with the Football Terrace outside of streams. It's a continual chat room all day long. We've got multiple chat rooms for all of the big 6+1. We've got fun. We've got, there's all sorts of chat rooms in there. Media and memes, clipboards, newsrooms, analysts, transfer rumors, predictions. We also have one that's called StreamYard Links. Now, StreamYard Links is where I post every single StreamYard link for every single show that we do, so you can phone in and have your say on the Football Terrace. That's really important to us. We're one of the only YouTube channels that does that, and we're going to be one of the only YouTube channels that continues to do that now. So you can phone up and you can have your say. Aside from that, we're going to post a poll. We're going to post a poll this morning. We're going to start off with Anthony Martial, and then we're going to move on to a Ben White poll. So we're going to put the Anthony Martial question in here. Do you agree that United should sell or loan Martial out? That's the question. It's a yes or no. That's been posted now in the comments section as well. If it ain't there, just refresh it and it should pop up momentarily. It should be there. It's now disappeared from my end. Oh, that didn't seem to work. So maybe I've got to do it again now. It didn't work. Sorry. Do you agree that Man United? Oh no, it is on there now. It is on there now. It took a while to load. 71% so far saying on the voting saying yes. That's already dropped to 65%. Let's see how that progresses. We have a super chat here that says, if we sell Martial before Daniel James, we are not a serious club. I understand where you're coming from, but you're missing one thing, Queen in the North. You're missing one element in your statement. There is far more interest in Anthony Martial because he's a much better player. Thus, he's easier to sell. If I've got two cars that I want to sell, and one is a 3-year-old, 10,000 miles on the clock, BMW 5 Series, no scratches, just needs a couple of new tires, full service history, all the gadgets and gizmos work on it. And I've also got a 20-year-old, clapped out, rusty, needs a new engine, needs a lot of work being done to it, doesn't really run properly, Ford Fiesta, which is easier to sell, which is easier to move on. You also have to take into consideration Dan James's desire to leave versus Anthony Martial's. What shouldn't be ignored in this scenario is the potential for Anthony Martial to be the person who is instigating the move away. Maybe he just wants to change. We have to wait, let the dust settle. This isn't necessarily just a Ollie's trash. He can't see Anthony Martial's ability here. So I think there's a couple of angles to look at when it comes to this. Ginger Fury, by the way, Ginger Fury and D1, your shirts were ordered yesterday. No, they were ordered Thursday evening by my colleagues at Snacks, and they should be with you in the next week or so. Martial had his chances to push and elevate himself, but has not done it. Cavani coming, you would think it would push him like Shaw. Shame, really. Such a talent. Sell and get a centre back and CDM is what Ginger Fury thinks. Look, I think that's a really interesting take on things there. And I'll tell you one thing. That why I want to focus on that is I do get a worry though that I already see quite a lot of stick from certain Man United fans towards Jadon Sancho. Obvious signing, bit of a stat merchant. How good is he really on the ball? I felt that Anthony Martial could be the catalyst for that in terms of one of my favorite players is leaving, a player that I said is required to make us be very, very good at football. I almost feel like this is also some bad news from a social media point of view only for Jadon Sancho. We've already seen so many people now sort of slander and rip apart Bruno Fernandes, who's been sensational for us. I worry that Jadon Sancho may get that same treatment. So what I implore people to do is to not use Jadon Sancho as a stick to beat Anthony Martial with, because Anthony Martial is a very talented, very gifted player. How do we know this? Because Real Madrid are considering taking him on, and Real Madrid are not going to consider taking him on if he's trash. Sometimes though, you just need to move people on for multiple reasons. We're going to start going to your calls very, very soon. First, another super chat that says, why don't Chelsea go and see if they can loan Martial? I'd be shocked if Man United would let him go to a rival in the Premier League. Typically isn't what we do. E-Boss here says, Cavani over Martial B-Tech Azet. Mo thinks he's going to be the best in the world. He can't finish. Well, this is the answer we're going to get. The one good thing about Anthony Martial leaving, if I take my Man United hat off, and he goes to another big club, is we see what he delivers. If he goes to a Real Madrid under Ancelotti, if he goes to a Paris Saint-Germain under Poch and doesn't elevate beyond what we saw at Man United, then it's going to be an interesting conversation on socials. I'm going to be someone who's wrong. I think he's sensational. So there's a big part of me that doesn't want him to leave, but I also understand in football, the recycling of players is important. And we spoke about this many, many times on the terrace about Liverpool's front three. Does it need rejuvenating? Sometimes a player in and a player out isn't exactly what you want, but it can help your team overall. It really, really can. 64% currently. 64% of people in the polls are saying that it's right for Manchester United to sell Anthony Martial. We're gonna get KG on a little bit later on in the show. Safe gonna spit fire. I can't wait. Yeah, maybe you will. Maybe you will. It's all about the rebuild, is what G Dad has got to say here. Terry, would you want Martial going to Chelsea? No, because I rate Anthony Martial and I don't want to strengthen my rivals. So absolutely. Man like Neeks here says, we know what he can deliver. His issue is he is inconsistent, is what Neeks says. Neil, if Martial wants to leave, let it be, is what's basically being said there. We are going to go to Safe now. Safe has dialed in this morning to have his say. Before that, another super chat from Ginger Fury. Keep these super chats coming, ladies and gentlemen. Won't Sancho give Martial more chances to score? He may. I don't know why Martial would want to leave right now. It's pure speculation. But he might look at it and think he knows he's behind Rashford. He knows he's behind Cavani. You don't chase a player like Sancho for two. Actually, we've been chasing Sancho since 2017. You don't spend the money we're about to spend. You don't offer him three. Don't let any Man United fan play this down. I've had this on very good authority that Sancho is going to be earning £350,000 a week. You don't do that for him not to be a mainstay in your team. So Martial just probably looks at it and thinks it's not for me. The one thing I would say in criticism of Martial isn't even his inconsistency. He doesn't tend to fend well when there's a vat of competition for his role. He doesn't roll his sleeves up and say, I'm going to fight hard for this. Tends not to. His best seasons come when we have less cover. And that's the problem. That's the one thing I'd say is a problem, is we need cover. He tends not to perform as well when there's cover or people challenging massively for his positions, especially in striker roles. But we will see. We've got Tade to come up. We've got Pav to come up. We've got KJ to come. But first, we've got Man Like Safe in the house. How you doing, Safe?
Yeah, what's up, man?
I'm good. What do you make of this Anthony Martial news today?
I'm happy that he's going to be gone. He's a shit player to me. He doesn't.
Come on.
No,
what?
he is shit. I'm sorry. He is shit player. His match assists and his match ratios is absolutely appalling for Manchester United. He had 3 or 4 managers and he doesn't perform really well. I was swapping for Coriza from Juventus. That's my opinion. And another question. Yesterday you said that Sancho is going to join Manchester United, didn't you?
When?
Yesterday you said the deal is done.
No, I didn't.
You didn't.
No, because I reported that a journalist said that the Sancho team think the deal is done. Please don't twist my words, my friend.
Okay, but my friend here, Sky Sports, says here that there's 11 million difference of payment. So
yes, and we've also reported. Do you actually watch our videos? Because we reported.
Because I'm working. That's the problem.
Oh yeah, so what I would advise, Safe, and I do respect you, but we talk about every single element of a transfer rumor on the terrace. So yes, we know that there's some reports of a differential. There are other reports this morning. There's no differential. It's just the structure of the payments. There's multiple reports. What we know is the deal isn't completed yet, but is moving ever closer by the sources of this information. So you're encouraged by the Anthony Martial transfer leaving. Do you think Sancho is an adequate or better replacement?
Well, Sancho plays on the right hand side. He cannot play on the left. I'll buy Coriza from Juventus. The player that is on loan from Fiorentina.
Who said that he can't play on the left?
Sancho. Sancho doesn't play on the left.
Who told you that?
Because he plays on the right hand side. He cannot play on the left.
You are wrong, my friend. I'm sorry.
He plays on the right hand side.
He starts on the right, but he's adequate and he performs on the left. He definitely can play on the left.
That's it. But I mean, he is a right footed, so how can he be able to cross his ball from the right footed quickly? Because
the majority of inside forwards in the modern day game play inverted, so they play on the opposite side to the foot they use as their strongest foot. Gareth Bale is left footed, right, but he plays on the right.
No, he plays on the left, mostly for Real Madrid. He does, and Ronaldo plays on the right.
Okay, listen. I'm talking about Gareth Bale right now, like at Spurs, predominantly on the right. Listen, I appreciate you coming on, having your say this morning, Safe.
My say should go because it's rubbish. Like, I mean, I can't stand him. His attitude, his man management of the game.
His man management? Who's he managing?
the way his attitude towards the other managers, that he keeps throwing his arm like this. Oh my days, oh my days. Oh,
Sorry, Nietzsche in the comment says Robin is the left back. Brilliant. Say, thanks for coming on, mate, and having your say top man. Next on the terrace today, we're going to go to Pav next. After that, we've got man like Tade coming on. Elite KJ still to come and give us his views. Stay tuned for KJ coming later. Pav's with us now. Man United fan. What you saying, buddy?
Bro, what have I just listened to, man? I don't know what I've just listened to.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, with the Martial thing, I've always said if a better player, a better goal scorer come, I'm not too worried about him leaving. He's not what Save said. He's not a shit player. He's a bit inconsistent. He's had a good season. He's had a bad season. The story that Duncan Castles said yesterday, I think that's the back of what his wife said a couple of months ago, that she wants him at Real Madrid. And I think that was when he was his injury just kicked in. So I'm not sure if it's something to do with that or could be something to do with a Sancho coming in. But there is still a place for him in the team, because you can't count on Cavani to play every game, every week. The guy's got to have a rest in between at his age. And we know for a fact that Sancho is going to provide more chances to Martial. It just depends on Martial to finish him, to get back to that level that he was at, or finishing goals to the chances that were created to him. The only thing is, if Real Madrid want him on loan, I think they may be looking at him as maybe a replacement for Benzema if once he leaves or retires from that club. But yeah, I mean, I'd like him to stay as a squad player, rotation wise as well. Like I said, we might start off the season very light with Rashford having his operation. Cavani's obviously at the Copa America. We don't know if he comes back fit. So Martial leaving, it's only possible if we replace him with someone very, very good, like qualities, or even better than him. The Ben White thing, I would like Arsenal to take him, because that I've got a feeling for some reason, like there's been stories linked with us with Ben White as well. Over the month, I don't want him at this club. I want that ready-made centre-back partnership with Harry Maguire. I do not want this guy. I'm not saying he's crap, but I don't think he's good. I think he's average at best. It looks like William Saliba, the stories with him, it looks like Arteta don't want him there. They keep talking about a loan for him. So Arsenal, please, go bid that 40 mil for Ben White. Take him. That's all right, man.
Listen, I understand. I mean, so it sounds like you don't rate Ben White at all then.
No, I don't. It's not that I don't rate Ben White. I don't think he's what we need. We need a ready-made, a world-class centre-back like that Varane. Ben White is just another player who's going to need years to develop into a possible top player. And we haven't got that time, because we've got a lot of players in this squad who need to be winning now. Unless we're like shipping off 2 players and he's going to come in as like a squad player and then develop, then okay. But he can't be coming into this team to be playing week in, week out. We need someone ready. He's still young, but I'd rather him go Arsenal, if that's a possible deal for Arsenal to do. But yeah, I really want that top class centre back.
I do hear. Listen, I hear your rationale behind that. But as opposed to slagging him off, it's what Man United need rather than someone who's up and coming. I hear you, Pav. Thanks for coming on, mate, and having your say. Top man. Thank you. If you want to come on and have your say, the StreamYard link is being posted again in the live comment section. We will be running a poll live on the terrace for the Ben White to Arsenal situation as well, to gauge opinions on that. But currently, the poll for Martial. The poll for Martial is at 64% of the Football Terrace viewers think they agree that Man United should sell or loan him out. Next on the show, Arsenal fan Tade's back with us here. What you saying, buddy?
Hey, Terry, how you doing, man? What's good?
Yeah, I'm very, very good. And I remembered your name and how to say it as well, you see. I'm good.
10 brownie points for you. 10
Bro, do you know
brownie
what it was?
points for
It
you.
wasn't until afterwards I deeped that I've seen you on AFTV and stuff before as well.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, I know who that guy is now. I was like, oh, sorry, my apologies.
No, it's all right, man. I've been to the old office, the U and AFTV where I've been there once, but you weren't around. That was a long time
I
ago.
used to go there quite a bit back in the day.
Yeah.
Look, I'd love to gauge your views on Ben White to Arsenal. 40 to 50 million pounds is a quoted price. What's your views?
Oh, right. I was actually going to talk about what's his name, Marshall. But you know what? I'm just going to say it there, and I'm going to say it now. I've been seeing the whole rumors about Ben White. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I know much about him. I have no opinion about that guy because I haven't really watched him enough. But for someone who is not very well known to be rated at 40 million, that's a bit outrageous. Except he's very, very good, like people say. I saw that they called him up in England squads, but I haven't really looked into him. I haven't really focused on him in Brighton, although Brighton did very well this season. So maybe that's a plus for him. And maybe that's the reason why he got called up into the England squad. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, oh, he's the best thing since sliced bread. He's going to be better than the guys we have right now. I'm not going to sit down and tell you that. I think he's a decent player from the little I've seen about him, but that's really all I can say about him, really. Nothing more to that.
And I think that's fair. Do you know what I do find, and I'm guilty of this as England fans, we always cry and moan that we don't look at players that are outside of top 4 teams, top 5 teams, and then we pick players from outside those teams, and invariably we moan, barring sort of like Jack Grealish, we moan about it. So it's interesting. In terms of the Anthony Martial situation, you primarily called in to speak about that. What's your take on this, my friend?
So I like to see things in two perspectives. You have to look at it from the footballing perspective on pitch performance, and you also have to look at it from sort of the financial aspect, right? We've been hearing the whole rumors about Jadon Sancho coming in. And personally, I feel that football has gone gaga, it's gone crazy with the amount of money that they're putting on this player. I know he's done very well in the last 2 seasons for Dortmund. I know Jadon Sancho has been doing double figures. I think last season he scored about 16 goals. I've been 16 assists or something of that nature. Quite reasonable returns and all that, right? Now, they're valuing between 77 million and 84 million. That's a lot. In today's football, it's just too much. We got what's his name for 72 million. We got Pepe for 72 million, right? Yeah. And we've seen that he's not really done it. And you can't compare Bundesliga with English Premier League. You just can't. They're 2 different kettle of fish. You're coming to a Premier League that is harder. No one is going to give you the space to be doing the legovers and be taking on players. Not everyone is a Jack Grealish. So for me, I think the money that Dortmund is asking for is a little bit too outrageous, in my opinion. That's just my own personal opinion. Now, you then look at someone like Anthony Martial that says he wants to leave. Obviously, you cannot blame him for saying he wants to leave. You can't you can't take away those rumors. But one thing I know about Anthony Martial is he's got a very, very, very good skill in him. I think he's a very good footballer. However, he's very inconsistent, and that's what frustrates me as a football fan. He's very inconsistent. I remember very well when Man United got Igalo. He then picked up form and started scoring goals. And he put my Nigerian brother on the bench. I was already rooting for him to come in and, make his mark. And Igalo kind of, made his mark within the little number of games he played. Yeah. But then Martial kicked off. He started playing well. Then all of a sudden, he went down with slippery slope again. He became that bad player he was. So this inconsistency could be very frustrating as a Manchester United fan that you are. That could be very frustrating. And his composure in front of goal sometimes is questionable. If I'm going to put someone like Rashford next to him, I would say in terms of, if I'm going to bet on someone that might score me a goal, if I put him and Rashford next to each other, I might probably go for Rashford, just because I think there's a little bit more composure in Rashford, right? Now, you're talking about selling him or loaning him. For them to be able to fund Sancho, or should I say for them to be able to balance the books a little bit, you're going to be looking at it that if they really want to be able to raise the money for Sancho, someone needs to give in somewhere. And maybe he's going to be the one. But then again, you're looking at Cavani, who is very, very old. That's not the future. So if you ask me between a sell or a loan, I would say a loan deal is the better option from a financial perspective. You're looking at someone that's got youth in him. You're looking at someone that perhaps might pick up form somewhere else and then can come back into the squad when Cavani leaves. But the question is, what sort of loan deal? Is it a loan deal where you guys are still going to be paying the salary? Or a loan deal where you have a very good sort of agreement with the team is going to say, you guys are going to take care of your salary, but it's still our player. So you have to consider all these things. That's just my take on that. I don't know what you feel.
I understand that completely, and I think that the loan move is an interesting one because it gives us an option to kind of bring him back. I suppose the only risk is him going to Real Madrid, falling in love with it. You know, would he want to come back? And you can create a bit of an issue there. The Cavani thing, I agree with. You know, he's not the future, but we know he's going to be there next year. All the reports are that United are going to look for a prolific number 9 to replace Cavani with in a year's time, and they felt there was other areas they needed to focus on before spending the money on that. And who knows what we're going to go in for next summer. I think Martial at Man United, I think his cards are marked as far as being the number 9 are concerned. I think that they would be happy to keep him potentially as sort of an inside forward. But then it depends how far down the pecking order he is. One of the reasons that United may be looking to sell him is financial. So he's on like 250 grand a week.
That's a lot.
And if he's fallen behind, if he, you know, from the right-hand side, we're going to primarily be using Ahmad and Sancho. If Pogba signs this new deal on the left, we're going to primarily be using Pogba and Rashford. 250 grand a week is a lot of money for one of your backups. Whether you or I or somebody else rates him or not is irrelevant. If that's where he is in the pecking order, that's too much money for a backup. You really want to be paying a backup 50, 60 grand a week in the modern day game.
It's ridiculous.
And reinvest that extra. You save £200,000 a week from the way you might even look at it is this. Martial leaves and you take that £250,000 a week you're saving. Some of it goes towards a Sancho deal. Some of that goes towards maybe keeping Paul Pogba at the club. Maybe turn around to Pogba and say, listen, we're going to give you an extra. We want you here for the foreseeable. There's an extra 100 grand a week. And you've made the money up as an example. So it's going to be a really interesting one to see what happens. I suppose my only concerns, I know too many Man United fans, this news to them this morning is, you know, this is like someone walked in their house on Christmas Day and took a piss on their kids. They are going to take, you know, to quote Michael Jordan, they're going to take this personally. Do you know what I mean? They're going to get, really, you know, it's like you've been on socials long enough. You know, it is. People have personal agenda.
I mean, people are very, what's it called? And I'm not having a go at people here. Obviously, I've been emotional sometimes. People are emotional, but sometimes they need to sit back a bit, analyze it and look at it. What's happening here? Don't just get all, you know, crazy and angry every single time that you see a news that you don't agree with. Try and sit down, because people are not stupid the way they make people to look. You know, there's a reason why they might make a decision, and you just have to sit back and try and understand why they've made that decision before getting emotional. But people get emotional first before sitting back. And, you know, that's just the difference.
Yeah. I completely agree, mate. I really do. Listen, thanks for coming back on the terrace, mate. Really appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, man.
Take care. All the best, my brother. Take care, my man. Thank you. Great guy. I like him. I like him a lot. Knows his football. Good energy. It's what we like here on the terrace. Just some admin for you. We are now on Twitch. If you're watching on YouTube, we have the link in our description below, straight there to go and follow our Twitch account. Please go and get that done. Aside from that, make sure whatever platform you're watching on, you're liking, you're following, you're sharing. If you're on Twitter, YouTube, make sure you're subscribing and turning on the bell notification button. And on Twitter, like and retweet. I know there's quite a few of you watching right now on Twitter. I want to see them retweets increase straight away. Amjad here says, I know we really need Sancho, but if you go deep into it, we could do with a decent CDM and centre-back and use Greenwood and Ahmad for 95 million euros. I think Ahmad's got some more development to do. Greenwood's a goal scorer. Man United's biggest issue in our attack is we don't have the creativity to give us the balance. All of our main attackers are goal getters, people that want to score more than they want to create. You need to apply some more balance into that team, in my view. I actually think we could get to a point next season where Ahmad and Sancho are playing as their inside forwards, and you may see Rashford on that bench. I legitimately do. I think we could find a situation where them two are creating from the wide positions, and Bruno and Cavani in the middle are lapping up all the goals. The balance is going to be imperative. We're an attacking team, so having our primary focus is to attack in the vast majority of games that we play in. That's a fact. So you need the balance in your attack first, because that's our primary weapon. Then you look at the defensive areas, in my view. But I appreciate the super chat, and you do make a good point, and I know a lot of people agree with your view on that. Pav here with the super chat says, I read a while back that Martial has a big commercial element as well. Third most popular player in Asia, so can understand why he's on 250k a week. Absolutely. Listen, one of the reasons, if you look at the add-ons and the structure of the deal that's going on with the Sancho element, a lot of the reason that the price is so high is because of his popularity and the income that Dortmund believes Sancho will bring to Manchester United. And it's almost music to my ears to hear this, because I've been speaking about this for about 6 or 7 years, ever before I was doing socials. People that moan about, oh, why player X and player Y are about the same ability, but why is player X earning more money? Commerciality, income they generate. It's the same in every single industry in the world. If I employ 2 of you right now to come and work for me at the Terrace, and your job is to go and find us commercial deals, and you bring in, one person brings in 500 grand a year and the other person brings in 2 million a year, guess who's getting paid the highest salary? Guess who's earning the most amount of money? The one who brings in the most commercial income. That's the way the world does work, should work. You cannot pay everybody equal money if the performance levels are different. You can pay them equal base, equal benefits, equal treatment. But when it comes to incentivizing people, and a lot of wages are more incentivizable than you'd think, you've got to increase it. And then over a period of time, if X is performing at this level for 5 years and Y is at this level for 5 years, when it comes to pay rises and everything else, this person's going to get much bigger pay rises because their performances are better. That's the way we have to reward excellence in this world, for multiple reasons, football and income. These things need rewarding in life. They really do. BTP, thank you very much for becoming an official member of the Football Terrace. That means a great deal to us that you've signed up as an official member. Anyone could become a member of the Terrace, and I'll post the link now in the live comment section as well if you want to join from as little as 99p per month. Loads of new benefits on the way. Over the course of the next week or so, we should have that all ready for you. Our brand new marketing team are just working on some elements of that to make it make sense. We're going to go to some more calls in a few moments, but we're going to end the Martial poll now. The Martial poll is on 65%. 65% of people agree that Man United should loan or sell him. We're ending that poll now, and we're going to be creating a new poll. And the new poll is going to be all about, I'm not too sure why I can't see the typing. The thing's gone. That's really, I have to refresh that now. Sometimes this thing goes weird. Ben White to Arsenal is going to be the focus of our next poll that we're going to post on here for you. So, and by the way, you become BTP, become an Academy member of the Terrace. So thank you very, very much for doing that, my friend. I really do appreciate that. It's humbling. Is Ben White to Arsenal 50 mil a good move? With a little question mark. So is Ben White to Arsenal a good move for 50 million? Yes or no? That has now been posted in the live comment section. So get yourselves onto that and let us know what you think and feel. Ndidi or Rice? Personally, if I could choose between the two, I think I would pick Ndidi. I think Ndidi is just slightly better, but I'd be happy with either. So I wouldn't be frustrated or angry or annoyed with either of those signings. Both would be absolutely brilliant in my view. Elite KJ still to come. Before Elite KJ, we're going to go to Daquan. Morning, mate. How are you?
Oh, I'm good, Terry. How are you, mate?
I'm very, very well. What are you here to speak about today? Ben White or Anthony Martial?
Ben White.
Talk to me. Talk to me.
50 million. You know what? I feel like he's one of those players that I would take. But at the same time, we would need to sell a lot of players to fund that deal. And looking at the centre backs that Arsenal have, I feel like he would become the second choice. But then again, at the same time, I would ideally want Saliba to stay, because I feel like he's a young player, 20 years old. He's still got a lot of potential. I just don't know why Arteta wants to send him out on loan again. Like, I don't want to see that. Like, what's the point, spending 27 million on a player like that you're just going to loan out for a second season in a row? Like, come on, this squad, I've talked about it a lot. It needs a rebuild. Centre back, is it that kind of priority is it that priority that is needed? Like, in a fullback, I think fullback is more of a priority, but is what it is anyway. Like, Arsenal generally, they need to go big. This is it. They need to go big in this transfer window, but the disadvantage is lack of Europe. And yeah, Ben White as well. I feel like if another team came in for Ben White, that's it. Game over. If they put in a bid or match the bid, Game over. That's
But
it.
if they put a 10% sell-on clause in the bid, then it's definitely over, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it's an interest. And do you know what I do find interesting? I mean, look, you might bid for this guy before you go for the Odegaard deal. It's an interesting one for me. The worrying fact is, though, if he does have a good Euros, if he has a good Euros, you're paying north of 40 mil because everybody's price increases. So there is this element. If you're an Arsenal fan and an England fan, you're going to want him to have a bad. But this is it. You don't want him to have a bad Euros because then if you buy him, everyone's going to say you're in the mud. But if he has a good Euros, he's going to be more expensive, which is hard for Arsenal because of the financial situation. So it becomes precarious, really. But look, I think it will be an interesting signing. On the poll right now, only 42% of people think that it would be a good signing as it stands right now, which is an interesting one. But there's 1,300 and something of you watching on Twitter, but only 278 votes. Refresh the stream. Maybe it needs to come up. I want you to go and vote for that and tell us what you think. Daquan, thank you very much, mate, as ever, for coming on the terrace. Top man. Thank you. Cheers, bro. Next, our guys here. Elite KJ's in the house. Morning. Anthony Martial potentially on his way out. What's your thoughts, mate?
I understand if it happened. I know Martial is a player that is very divisive. To be fair, most of the Man United squad is divisive. Like, no matter who it is, we as our fan base, we just love having a split opinion on them and not showing them enough respect they deserve. I like, and unlike you, Terry, I looked at the quote tweets and the comments about the Martial thing, and he was again very split. A lot of people, like just how you described, even looking at it, a lot of people saying, yeah, get rid of him, he's rubbish. Other people saying Man United are crap for letting him go, like Martial's better than Rashford, blah, blah, blah. It's one of those ones for me. If we were able to loan him out with an obligation to buy, and then we bought in a left winger or a striker, I would do that. Now, I can accept it. You know what I mean? I don't want it to happen. I like Martial. My issue is the fact that if he goes, that's another player on the transfer list that we need to get. And I don't trust this board to replace Martial quick enough. You know what I'm saying? Look how long it's taken us to replace freaking Ronaldo. We're just
I mean, that's assuming years. Though. That's assuming we're looking for a replacement after Martial and it not just be that Sancho is the Martial replacement, or maybe the long-term replacement is Ahmad. Sancho's coming in, and that's it. I get more of a I don't think there'll be another attacker bought this summer. I think there's a view to bring in a new striker in a year's time.
Yeah,
I don't think there'll be anybody else purchased, and what they'll do is if the Glazers allow the money from a Martial sale to be used, I think it will be CDM or centre back that it's put towards myself.
No, I get that, and it's just annoying because it's kind of like I'm a person who wants 6 players for those 3 positions.
Yeah,
so I want 2 strikers, 2 left wingers, 2 right wingers.
Yeah,
Dan James, we technically still would have 6, but Dan James for me is not good enough.
Yeah,
and also I feel like I don't want to see Pogba in that left wing spot all the time. You know what I mean? A lot of people are making it seem like he's going to be there for the whole of next season, which I don't think he will. But I don't think he should be there anyway. I feel like he does his best work in the midfield, driving forward, operating in that left-hand space, yes, but with a winger and the left back working with him. You know what I'm saying?
There's so many options to look at. Maybe we go after if Martial goes, maybe we sign on a free a Danny Ings as backup, because my fear is there's no number 9 backup without Martial.
Yeah,
so we do that. Maybe the thought process is Rashford starts playing more centrally, which I've heard quite a few sort of pundits in the build up to England talk about how they still think his best position is that of a striker.
Them man clearly haven't been watching Rashford the last time.
Yeah, look, no, I agree, but as we also know with Ollie, sometimes he does things that we don't always necessarily agree with.
Yeah,
so
you went to Rashford first, like we haven't got a Mason Greenwood who's going to do that.
Exactly. And Greenwood could be I think Greenwood's more likely to be the individual that's moved into those. That's what they're going to say, into those areas. It's whether, and maybe that's a process. That's something that hasn't come up today. Maybe that's the process here. Maybe Ollie is looking at it and saying, right, with Sancho coming in, I've got Sancho that plays on the right primarily, Rashford on the left. They're my number 1 and 2. You got Ahmad that can come in and play right or left, but also Sancho can play right or left. You got Greenwood that can cover the wide positions, but is the main backup to Cavani through the middle.
Yeah.
You've got Dan James, and you've got forgetting the geezer's name who scored on the final day of the season. Alanga. Maybe Alanga is the backup to the backup, like he's there behind the scenes. And it's Greenwood's opportunity now. He's going to get far more games down the middle. And we've all been screaming for that development. The irony in it is, bruv, everyone wanted us to re-sign Cavani. Most people wanted us to sign a top number 9 as well if we could. But they're also screaming for Greenwood's development. Something at some point has got to give. And what's interesting now is what I will say, again, not in defense of Martial leaving. This is the balance coming in here. I've been saying for years, I think he's more of I think I prefer him on the left. Most of the Martial FC said, no, he's a number 9. Now they're very slowly sort of eking back in he's never a number 9. He's much better inside forward. That tells me you've been defeated. Now you're trying to change what you say his primary position is. So it could be maybe this is what we all want. Maybe this is Greenwood's time to get an extra 15, 20 games a season through the middle. And let's see what happens there. But listen, I think one thing we do know, and this is Glazonomics, to buy that top quality CDM that everybody said is the most important role, someone needs to be sold. So when you start weighing it up, who actually is there in this squad that we can sell? You've got Pogba, everyone wants him to stay. Martial, a lot of people want him to stay. You've got Dean Henderson and David De Gea both potentially leaving this summer as an example. Outside of that, no one else is up for sale or can raise this money anyway. So something's got to give. Someone's got to go. One of those 4 players has to be sold this summer. You've got Jesse that will raise a little bit of money. But yeah, man, it's going to be an interesting one. On Ben White, by the way, sorry, before I do Ben White, Cody here, thank you very much for upgrading your membership from squad member to legend and super fan. Appreciate that a lot, my guy. And I think it'll be Monday or Tuesday, our first member stream only. That will just be a private stream with me and you, the members. Q&A session will be going ahead. I'll be scheduling that. You'll see that on the post coming out. And that's for all squad members and above. That you're going to be getting that on Monday. We're doing that at least once a month. The WhatsApp group should be set up next week as well. I'm going to be seeing the final copy of all the exclusive scarves for our first team members and for our legend members. Remember, you have to be on those plans for 3 months to qualify for them. We'll have them made. We have them sent out to you. They're looking quite slick, to be fair. So thank you very much for signing up. KJ, Ben White to Arsenal, 40 to 50 million pound. Give me your thoughts, bro.
You know what's mad? Yeah, I actually think Ben White would be a good move for Arsenal. But at that price, though, it's a bit mad still, not even going to lie. Like, I feel like Arsenal need to go through a process of just buying Premier League proven talent to improve their squad because they've clearly been struggling in the last few seasons. Yeah. A lot of their transfers have come from outside of the Premier League. And how much is that working? You got to question that, you know what I mean? Torreira's not worked out. Guendouzi's not worked out. Saliba's not getting game time. Lacazette looks like he's about to leave. So you got all the Granit Xhaka has been labelled as a flop and he's about to leave. So you got all these players that have come through outside of the Premier League and it's not been working out. So I feel like the Neves links, the White links, the links to like the Bendias and the Basumas, like those are good links that Arsenal should be having to bolster their squad and get their squad back to being Premier League security in the top 6. But it's just the prices now, like 40 to 50 million pounds on Ben White is a massive risk. Unless you are saying he is hands down the centre-back that you believe in to be the number 1, to be the one to take you forward and drive you forward, then sure, drop the 40 to 50 M's because it's a long-term investment and you believe in him. But then you've got the Salibas, the Gabriels, and what does that say about then? You got the Mavropanoses. I don't know if he's out on loan or is he actually sold, but if Mavropanos, I think he's still out on loan, he's got to come back. You got your Rob Holding, you got your Chambers. You've got so many defenders now that you need to decide who actually are the guys before you bring in a Ben White, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's Ben White is such an interesting one. As I said, I remember being on a stream, LFC Day Trippers, Grizz was on, a few others, and they were raving about him on the stream, talking about how he was linked. And I said, I'd never heard of him. And they were like, oh, he's this, he's that, he could come in. He was a player Liverpool heavily linked with last year. And then I remember Rashford sitting him down in that goal against Brighton early on in the season. And ever since that game, like there's been this element of, he's not that good. So I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued. Again, a lot of people that say he's trash love Bielsa. Bielsa loves him. So, you know, there's contrary opinion on it, if it makes sense. The 40 to 50 million pound thing is always where it becomes precarious. But at the end of the day, we all know there is Premier League tax and there is English tax to pay on players. And the fact Ben White's now part of the England squad, it makes him even more expensive. And we know why, because there is, that we spoke about earlier, the commercial side of things. When a player becomes, if he has a good Euros, he's gonna have a lot of people in the nation in it sort of build an affinity with him, build a relationship with him through the means of sport. And it's funny, really. I watched a documentary last night that I think it's a little. I don't know when they made it because they kept on saying 20 years since Euro 96, and I'm like, it's been more than 20 years. Maybe it's an old documentary they re-released. I hadn't seen it before, where Alan Shearer was going around interviewing and talking to like some of the main protagonists from that Euro 96 squad, Teddy Sheringham, Gazza, David Seaman, Paul Ince. He met with Terry Venables and they were chatting and talking, and I was watching it, and that I felt that affinity then to those players because of how well they did, and it remains now. Like for my generation, those England players from that tournament, I will always love and respect for what they did. Now that's tangible in money, because if someone said, Terry Sheringham's doing a Q&A, £100 a ticket, do you want to go? I'd go. Gazza, I'd go. Ince, I'd go. Why? Because of that affinity. The world's changed now, though. Commerciality is a lot easier because of social media. Ben White does well, there are going to be millions of kids and millions of young adults that are going to be like, I love this guy, he killed it. So that tax gets added onto the valuation of players, there's no doubt. So it's one of the, like I said earlier, if you're an England fan and an Arsenal fan right now, it's bittersweet if Ben White does well. You want him to do well, right? But the price is going to go up. It's as simple as that. It's the way the transfers work. But it's going to be an interesting one, mate. Wales play today. You back in Wales or you're not too sure?
I'm backing Dan James for the fantasy, and I hope they will lose. No. It is what it is. I think Switzerland are a better team than them overall. I think they've got better players. But again, it's about the collective. If Wales come together and do something and not just rely on Gareth Bale and Ramsey to carry them through, they could have a good shot at winning this game. But yeah, big up Dan James. Come on now, get me those fantasy points, my lad. You know what I'm saying? Speedy Gonzalez and that. Go down the line, bag a goal, bag an assist. Happy days for me, innit? Because everyone was like, oh, why would you put Dan James in fantasy? Bruv, all I need for him to get is a 1 goal contribution. And I'm set. And I'm good, fam. I'm good with my selection. But yes, let's see how they do today. It should be a good game.
No, I hear you on that. It's yeah.
Oh, can you hear that dog, by the way?
Yeah, I can hear that dog.
It sucks, man. It literally is my next door neighbor's dog, and all he does is bark at the same rock. What he does.
I hear you on that, my guy. Listen, bro, thank you very much for coming on, having your say as ever, bro. And I'm sure we'll speak to you later on. Top man. Take care, KJ. Thanks, brother. Egal's going to be with us next. I want to just test something from it, ladies and gentlemen, because there's lots of buttons on my mixer that I don't really understand, and I should. Can any of you hear me? Can you guys hear me at all? So you can hear me, right? If I do this, can you hear that? I can't hear anything, which is weird, right? But if I press that one, I still can't hear anything. So now I can hear everything back again. If I press that, I can't. If I press that, I can't. If I press that, I can't. That one I can. It's very weird. I'm trying to work this all out. I don't really understand it. You can all still hear me. Right, next thing. So you can all hear me still, right? How clear is this noise? Is it kind of like, does it sound like I'm playing it through an old radio? Is it clear or not clear?
It's very clear. It's wonderful. It's better than it used to be. Very, very clear.
So I think I haven't been turning on the right buttons, because I was going to buy a new mixer, right? But maybe I just haven't set it up right with the settings. I'm so old. So does this sound clear? So that's clear. KJ, can you come back in again? Actually, let me throw Igal in for a second. Igal, are you there?
Yeah.
And I can hear you. So that's why my sound effects have been so bad for all these years. So Igal, talk for a second for me.
What are you gonna do? You're gonna throw some sound effects. You can do that. Stop it, bro. Why are you doing this?
Sorry, I just wanted to see if it was working.
It is working.
I'm actually no, because normally it comes through really weird. The sound isn't right, and if I've worked out how to make it clear, sound effects are back, baby. Yeah, how you doing, bro? You good?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I just want to talk to you about this whole Ben White thing. It's not happening. It's not happening. You want to know why? We don't need another center back. I get we keep getting linked to other center backs. We keep getting linked to these center backs. I genuinely don't believe the Arsenal Football Club are going to spend 50 million, 40 million, or even 30 million on another center back on the third successive summer. It makes no sense. We got Gabriel, we got Saliba, we have Mavropanos, we have all the first team center backs that we already have in Holding, Pablo Mari. There's all these pieces that we already have. I know none of them are as good or as big of a quality player as some of the top center backs in the world, but financially it makes no sense for a club that has holes in the right back position, holes in the midfield, holes in the attacking third, and still spending money on a center back position for the fourth or third successive summer. It makes no sense.
Do you rate Ben White as a player? Is he the kind of player that you think could take you to that next level?
I rate Ben White, don't get me wrong. It's just I don't think spending that type of money on Ben White this summer is smart for the club.
I kind of get where you're coming from in relation to that. I do understand that. That kind of makes.
If it was Koulibaly or somebody senior who comes in and immediately makes a big difference and big impact in the team, it would make some sense. But we've been linked to Jules Koundé, we've been linked to Ben White, we've been linked to Tapsoba, we've been linked to all these different center backs. And in my opinion, it makes no sense. Just give Saliba the run as a right-sided center back, play Holding and these guys behind them. We're going to probably sell Mavropanos, get a young center back if we sell Mavropanos, but stop this Ben White stuff. We have Daniel Bellard. Daniel Bellard is on the same trajectory as Ben White. Daniel Bellard. No, you're laughing. Ben White a couple years ago got loaned out to a team in the lower divisions. Then he got loaned out to Leeds. Then he started playing for Brighton, and now he's worth 50 million. We have a guy we loaned out to First Division. League One. Then we're going to loan him out to Championship, and next year he could be in the Arsenal team as a fourth choice center back. So let's not be quick and jump to the first center back we see that's English. We have a good center back in our ranks already, and he's homegrown, and I think he already has caps for his international country.
It's certainly going to be an interesting one for me. I don't. I want to say let's see what transpires with it, but it looks like you're doing this. So what you should be doing and what you are going to do are often very different things, if that makes sense. And I get a sense and I get a feeling that you may very well go down this road. You may go down this avenue. Ornstein tends not to report on these things unless there's a large element of kind of truth in them. But you know what? You guys want to spend money. And I still think you're fishing in the right areas. I think Ben White's, Basuma's, Neves's, this 30, 40, maybe 50 million pound level of player is exactly what you need to bolster your squad. I think there's an argument to say that Ben White could be your best centre back as soon as he comes in as well. To be fair, like he's talented, but let's see what he does at the Euros. That might change some people's minds if he has a really good tournament. And we will see. Are you off to London today? I believe.
Yeah, got some
nice
family stuff.
Nice, my guy. Listen, you have a great day with your family, and we'll speak to you again soon, my brother.
All right, peace out, guys.
Cheers, man. Thank you very, very much. In terms of the poll that's running across socials, 42% is still where it's at that would like to take Ben White at Arsenal. They think it's a good move. We're going to do a few more calls now, some quick fire calls. First up, we're going to have Louis on with us again. Louis, what you saying, bro?
What's up, brother? Hey, can you hear me?
Perfect.
Good. My basement flooded last night, and all my studio, my computer gear, my cameras are all underwater right now. So I'm on my cell phone.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, luckily, my band equipment's all at the recording studio, so that stuff's fine. But yeah,
Is it insured?
Yeah, it's insured. Yeah, and what sucks is I just bought 2 brand new Alienware towers, and all that stuff, like literally 3 weeks ago. So
How did it flood? Was it like a burst pipe or rain or
burst
something?
pipe. Second year in a row that just happened. Yeah, man. So
Second year in a row.
second year in a row. Yep. So different
Jeez,
pipe
Mike.
though.
That's a madness. That's a madness, bro. What's your take on the Ben White situation?
I think it's exactly what Arsenal need. And what's crazy, me and my dad were talking, and it's very rarely that me and my dad agree about football. Cause my dad's a Spurs fan. I'm a Chelsea fan. So we don't agree on much. But me and him were talking about this morning. It's what Arsenal needs. But then you're thinking, a lot of Arsenal fans I know is like they don't want it because they want that immediate fix. They want to get back to Europe quick. But Arteta said it himself. They're going through a rebuild. You know, it's going to be 2-3 seasons before Arsenal are contending for Europe right now. Ben White, your Basumas, your Ruben Neveses, they're exactly the type of players that Arsenal need right now, because in 2-3 seasons when they're getting to their prime, that's when Arsenal is going to be hitting that's their stride to get back to Europe. If they're going after players, you know, your top-notch players, they're just not going to sign. You know, Arsenal's got no prospects for Europe. Well, this season, obviously, but next season too. But if they sign the players like a Ben White, like a Ruben Neves, in 3 seasons' time, those players are going to come good, and Arsenal is going to be right back where they need to be.
Mate, look, you make a fair point there, and it's, I suppose you're right up to one. As long as Arsenal are progressing with those players, I suppose the one fear factor is you sign all these good young up and coming players, and then in 2 years' time you haven't progressed and moved forward, and then there is almost this notion, and then there becomes this kind of notion of, it almost becomes this notion of they want to leave, and you know, you could just end up being a Borussia Dortmund and developing players for your big rivals. So Arsenal need to progress exactly the same time. But I do get where you're coming from, bro. Louis, listen, great call. Thanks for coming on, and listen, good luck with the basement and the flood, mate. Speak to you soon.
Thanks, Terry. I'll come on again and get all that situated.
Take care, mate. All the best. Take care, buddy. Thank you very much indeed. Top man. CFC Ed is with us now. CFC Ed, what you saying, bro?
Yeah, how you doing, Terry? You all right?
Yeah, I'm very well. What are you here to speak about this morning?
Yeah, I was sort of to talk about Martial, really, and Ben White. Martial, you know what? I think it's worth selling him. He's at really the right age. You could cash in and get the maximum amount of money for him and reinvest it into the squad, because at the moment Martial's really not getting a sniff into that starting 11. But you know, you need that centre back and CDM really more than a backup sort of striker or a winger. As I look at it, they're more important to Man United at the moment than those positions. So probably worth cashing in on Martial. And
I do get where you're coming from with that. That makes sense what you're saying. It'll be intriguing to see what we actually do with the money, whether Glazonomics come in and take it away. Listen, Ed, thank you for calling in, mate, and having your say. I really appreciate that, buddy. Top man. Thank you. Final caller, CA, is with us here. What are you saying, buddy?
Hi, Terry.
How are you?
Hello. Fine, Terry.
Good.
I've got to speak about Martial here. I have a very split opinion on him. See, I've seen they're coming for a loan deal, which is in current pandemic market. I don't think anybody will pay him say 250 a grand, which he already earns.
Well, I think that's why the loan deal year one might work, because generally of a loan deal, the club taking him pays a percentage of his salary. So you might find Real Madrid say, look, we'll pay you like a £3 million fee, £4 million fee, plus we pay 200,000 of the 250 wages. It's almost like a try before you buy type thing. Yeah.
But in the current market, I don't see anyone paying 250K for a player as inconsistent as Martial is.
And you might be right. And if you think he's inconsistent and the football world agrees, then it could be very, very difficult to get that done. So it'll be an intriguing one. There's no doubt about it. Do you agree with selling him, though?
See, there are also, I have a split opinion. It's all about the Glazer economics here. If we pay off if we sell and get the money and reinvest in our CDM, because what I believe in any title winning season, a midfield is the most important. You take City, as for last year, they had a Rodri or Gundogan and Fernandinho. Before that, Liverpool had Fabinho, Henderson, And before that, Chelsea also had Kantes and the Jorginhos and everyone. But the current United, McFred is as good as zero. If that money can be reinvested in a CDM, then I'll surely like to see him go. If say money can't be invested, then it's better to keep a player rather than selling him off. But also, I believe he also needs a kick on his backside. See, when the Gallo came, he was absolutely great. But Cavani, when he came last year, he was suffering from injuries and everything. So he couldn't provide him competition. If pro competition, I believe Cavani, and I hope Cavani stays fit for the whole season and he gets a kick on his backside and then he can move on. It will be nothing, say, as bad, as great as that.
No, I do hear you, my guy. Listen, great call, great points being raised there. Thank you for coming on the terrace, mate, and having your say. I really appreciate that, mate. Thank you very much indeed. Everyone who's tuned in today, a massive thank you to each and every single one of you. Thank you very, very much. It means a great deal to us. Do me a favor and hit that like button, hit that share button, turn on the bell notifications, go follow our Twitch account, our Twitter, all our social media accounts. The links for that are in our description below. Go and get that done. And until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again very, very soon.